Triple H has received a lot of criticism over the years. Whether or not it's justified is completely up to you. I'm not here to throw stones, I'm just here to run down a powerful list. The one thing he has been very successful at, mind, is making some people feel like a bigger deal. Wrestlers such as Batista, Jericho, and even The Rock all benefited from their feuds with the game. The fact he rarely lost just meant that when he did, it carried that much more weight. That doesn't mean he could do it time in, time out though. Sometimes it was too big a task for anyone to carry out, even the King of Kings. I'm Simon from WhatCulture, and this is 10 wrestlers Triple H couldn't get over. Number 10, Scott Steiner. Scott Steiner's debut in the WWE was amazing. I mean, who else storms to the ring before bellowing, "Give me a fucking mic"? It sums up Big Papa Pump perfectly. Once he had settled into his role though, his first big feud was against Triple H. The problem, however, was, well, everything. For starters, Steiner had a foot injury which meant he physically couldn't lift one of his feet in the air. Stand up now and try and even walk without doing that. You look like a crippled penguin. It hugely restricted what the two could do in a match, meaning Triple H had to try and carry the entirety of their contests, which resulted in the whole feud falling flat. Ultimately, when all was said and done, Steiner went and floundered in the mid-card for a while. They did have that amazing segment where they went head-to-head in a bodybuilding contest though. I enjoyed that. Probably the only one. But still. Number 9, the Spirit Squad. Regardless what you thought about them at the time, the Spirit Squad were over to some degree as annoying, obnoxious heels. I mean, it wasn't hard. They came out and jumped around like buffoons. But it worked, so you can't criticize it. To try and push them as actual players, however, they needed a feud with some established stars, and who better than Shawn Michaels and Triple H, aka DX? Unfortunately, the legends had no interest in playing ball. Beating the Spirit Squad on multiple occasions did nothing for the team, as it wouldn't. After losses at Vengeance 2006 and Saturday Night's main event, they all looked like goons, especially as it was 5-on-2. You could say Triple H wasn't bothered at all in trying to get the cheerleaders over. You may just be right. Number 8, CARLITO. I like CARLITO. His weird I don't care attitude was just entertaining to watch, even if behind the scenes there was a good chance that he actually didn't care. And he spat apple in people's faces. Who couldn't get behind that? After a stop-start career, WWE decided to pair CARLITO with Triple H, which was a surefire way to elevate the Puerto Rican to the next level. Going down at Unforgiven 2007, the stipulation in place was that CARLITO could not be disqualified, leading us all to believe that he was in for a big win. After all, he could have done whatever he wanted. He could have pulled a gun out and shot Triple H. There may have been serious ramifications after the match, but at least he wouldn't have been DQ'd. And what happened? Triple H destroyed him, and then destroyed him again on Raw a few weeks later. Shockingly, CARLITO then asked for his release as he wasn't happy with his push, and while he'd eventually stay on for a little while longer, you can't really blame the man. I don't think he was earmarked for big things. Number 7, Test. Now, Test really did get a raw deal. We all remember what happened when the Canadian tried to marry Stephanie McMahon all the way back in 1999. Triple H interrupted and announced that he had married her first, because marriage is nothing more than some weird contest, obviously. After this, however, Test never got his revenge. Think of that. Here was a guy that had his wife stolen from him, and he was never allowed any retribution. If that doesn't make someone a joke, I don't know what does. What a loser. It's fair to say no one was really wanting to see a proper Test Triple H feud even after what happened, but the fact Test so easily forgot about things and moved on was ridiculous. It really was the end to any kind of superstardom he may have wanted. Number 6, Vladimir Kozlov. If you have a guy who's from Eastern Europe, you gotta make him an anti-American bad guy. These are the WWE rules, and while today we have Rusev, back in 2008 we had Vladimir Kozlov. For some reason, someone decided he would make a great opponent for Triple H's World Championship, so the two were booked against each other at that year's Survivor Series. Edge was hurled into that match too, but you'd never have known given how little time he was in the ring. Instead, we got the slowest back and forth between Triple H and Kozlov, which ended when the entire audience fell asleep. It was clear to everyone in the back Kozlov wasn't the man to take a top spot, and he was back to opening shows the following month. If anything, Triple H was lucky he didn't have to try and get him over more. Don't think it would have worked. Ever. Number 5, Kane. Well, we all know what happened here. Following the original brand split, WWE decided that Kane could become a major player once more, and they were right. Glenn Jacobs has always been a very talented man. Unfortunately, this rise back to prominence came when he unmasked in 2003, after his dire feud with Triple H. Now, in many ways, it didn't have to be awful. The two worked well together and the right story was all they needed. They didn't get the right story though. Instead, they got a narrative where Kane was painted as a Katie Vick killing murderer and Triple H humped a fake dead corpse to insinuate that the Big Red Machine had done the same. It was awful, no one benefited, and Kane was certainly not more over when all was said and done. Number 4, Kevin Nash. Every time Kevin Nash comes back to the WWE, he, for some reason, has to tangle with real-life best mate Triple H. Now, I get that. If I was a wrestler and I had the power to book myself in a feud with one of my actual friends, I would. It's like when you would play with your Hasbro action figures, but now it's legit. That doesn't mean it's a good idea, however. Both in 2002 and 2011, Nash and Trips went at it, and both times it wasn't all that great. It didn't help that Nash was past his best at this point, but fans didn't really want to see it either. They wanted fresh faces, and not characters they had seen a lot of over the last few years. Even with gimmicks such as Hell in a Cell and ladders, neither man walked away feeling like they had taken a positive step. It all just fell a little flat, like Nash's quad. That joke doesn't work. I just felt like I had to take the shot. Number 3. Randy Orton. The biggest problem when Triple H and Randy Orton butted heads in 2004 was that it was too soon. After winning the World Heavyweight Championship from Chris Benoit at SummerSlam, the game turned on his Evolution protege to try and win his title back. 12 years ago though, Orton was still finding his way in the wrestling world and the Evolution group was actually good for him. It protected the Viper to some degree, and being associated with Triple H, Ric Flair and Batista hid a lot of his weaknesses. Furthermore, fans just weren't ready to cheer for Orton, especially as he was really good at being a massive dick. There's certainly logic in the idea of the young up-and-comer fighting off the grizzly veteran, but no one wanted to get behind either man, so it died a death. Orton's talent saw him through in the end, but it wasn't really anything to do with Triple H. Number 2. The Great Khali. Obviously. Because no one could get the Great Khali over. I mean, what could anyone do? It'd be like trying to get a tree over, except the tree moves more than the Great Khali. Need proof? Go and watch Triple H vs. Khali from SummerSlam 2008. It's pointless, just pointless. I genuinely would have rather seen the tree. The tree's got leaves and shit. Number 1. Roman Reigns. Will anyone be able to get Roman Reigns over in the way WWE would like to get Roman Reigns over? He gets a reaction, which is nothing to be sniffed at. Better than people just not caring at all. But everyone who has tried to get the man cheered has failed. Triple H is no different. Their entire feud saw the COO getting cheered and Roman getting booed, even though, at times, Triple H was being despicable. The game tried everything too, including putting him over clean in the main event of WrestleMania 32. He couldn't really have done anything more, other than paid off the fans. That may have worked. $1,000 for anyone who supports Roman. At this point, it's a mystery as to who can actually pull off this feat. Screw winning the WWE Championship. The real barometer for success in pro wrestling is the person who manages to get Reigns cheered. Know of any other wrestlers Triple H failed to get over? Let us know in the comments below, and then don't forget to like, share and subscribe. You can even come and tell me on Twitter at SimonMiller316. I'm Simon from WhatCulture, and I'll chat to you again soon.